Ciao a tutti and welcome to Venice Talks, a podcast series about Venice in Italy. My name is Monica Cesarato and I am a Venetian food and travel blogger. I'm going to put my insider knowledge at your disposal to help you discover Venice at 360 degrees. Each week, I will be chatting to the people who really matter, the Venetian. So follow me on the discovery of its artisans, writers, fashion designers, artists, glassmakers, bloggers, and much, much more. Come to visit Venice the right and sustainable way. You can find me on my blog www.monicacesarato.com and also on all social media. Enjoy the episode. Welcome to Venice Talks, episode number 45. Hi everybody and welcome back to Venice Talks. Today my special guest is Cristina Cappellari from Studio Saòr and I'm gonna dive straight away and say hi to her. Hello Cristina, how are you?
Hi Monica, very good and thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. Right, first of all, let's explain what is Studio Saòr, because the name is very interesting, but it's totally different from what people might think.
Yes, sure. So for sure, everybody thinks it's something related to food or Venetian food, but actually it's not at all like that. So Studio Saòr, what its tagline, it's illustrated architecture. So this is the two words we use to explain our studio and our project. So starting from basis, we are two architects. So I'm the co-founder, Cristina, with Ferruccio Costantini. We are two architects based in Venice, of course, and we started here in Venice now a few years ago. It sometimes passed from our studying period, and at IUAV, University of Architecture in Venice.
Are you both from Venice or are you from outside of Venice?
No, I am from Bassano del Grappa, so from not that far away from here. And Ferruccio, my business partner, is from Mogliano Veneto, but actually his blood is Venetian since his father, his grandpa.
Okay. So you're Veneto people. Okay, that's fine.
Yes. So in the same region, actually. And then for me, I've been in Venice. So I came here to study architecture. And so I've been here since 2005. So I guess half of my life in Bassano del Grappa and half of my life in Venice. So I can call myself a Venetian a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
yeah, definitely.
And so everything was born here in Venice after, actually during our studying. And this thing, I can tell you the story about it, of how it started. So
yeah, 1 second, Cristina, do me a favor, because I know you're talking through the telephone. Don't move too much, because every time you move, the sound disappears. That's fine.
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead with the story, because I'm quite sure it's very interesting. Go on.
So everything was born while we were studying architecture, just kind of at the end of our path. So at the last few years at the master, we were studying architecture, and the master program was also a little bit about urbanism and city planning. So that's our background.
And but for Venice is one of the most interesting thing to do. I mean, the urban, city as an urban, plan is the most amazing, I think, in the world, isn't it? To study. And
yes, and I think Venice was such an inspiration for us, and living in here while we studied that subjects, it was great to learn it through living in the city and observing the city, which is actually the base of our project now. So everything started from looking around and using our background and our studies to then find ourselves in a project about the city and its analysis and its observations. So we met at university, and we just found that we were both really passionate about representing architecture. So drawings, maps, we were really passionate about all maps and something like that. So we just started thinking about doing some new representations of the city. And the first thing we did, since we wanted to do something different than that stuff that was already around, we thought about representing something not that known about the city. So it's lagoon. And we started with our first project, it's called Other Venetian Lagoon Islands. And it's a set of maps of the less known islands of the Venetian lagoon, since we thought, of course, everybody knows Venice, but maybe not that much people know about its lagoon, which is rich and full of history.
Of course. I'm writing a book about that, actually, on the islands of Venice. So you're totally in line with my ideas.
Yes. And we also love the idea of like not giving obvious information about the city. Also the main point of interest, I think, of our project. So like we talk about Venice, we draw Venice, we study Venice, but we want to know more about what is less known. And because the city is rich of architecture, of history, of representations, and also in the situation we find ourselves in right now, so mass tourism and lots of people pass by every day, what we love is to make people understand that it's not just going through San Marco and Rialto and taking a picture.
Yeah, what we keep saying, is so much more deep, what Venice is. Yeah, of course.
So I think everything started like that. So giving a different view on the city, and then we started doing these maps, and then we were like, okay, we love paper, we love printed matters. And so with our first drawings, we just decided to start working with paper and posters. That was the first output, just because we love also the idea of the old paper, touching paper, folding paper, working with that, and it's one of our passions since we were young.
And only that paper for Venice was so important, with printing and everything. It's one of the main, it was one of the main crafts in the city. So
yes, and it's also a good way to connect with the history of the city, and also to give something different. And of course, after this like first project we did, then we started thinking, okay, we really love doing this. Of course, just to make you understand more about our story, this for the first years, actually a few years, this was a side project for us. So we were finishing our studies, we started working in architecture studio. Our background with that is I worked as a communication manager for an architecture firm for a few years, because since I was studying, I just understood that maybe being an actual architect wasn't my path. So I concentrated more into communication and graphic design, which is actually now is my job. And Ferruccio, my business partner, he was actually working as an architect. So we had our full-time job, and during our free time, we just illustrated and started working on our little side project. That after years and lots of patience, it grew, and now it became what it is today.
Yeah. So when did you open the shop?
The shop was, it's a little bit more than 2 years. So we opened it on July 2nd, 2021.
Oh my God, in the middle of pandemic. Oh, you're so brave. Well done.
Just after, yes.
Yeah.
We were tired.
Isn't it amazing how many young, because obviously you're both young, I assume. I mean, from the way you talk, you sound like you're very young. You're quite young compared to me that I'm old. But I'm always so happy when I hear these stories like you and what happened, like yours, what happened during the pandemic. So many of you young people decided to do something for Venice that wasn't just, the usual, let's talk about it, but you actually went ahead and start businesses, wherever it was, people involved with food, people involved like you, architecture and, creating art and so on. It's clothing. I mean, it's amazing the amount of new crafts and shops and little shops, like little botteghe, the real botteghe, that have born in Venice during the pandemic, and how little people are talking about this. And this is, you are the kind of people that the city should concentrate and talk about. I think, because you are the new lymph of a city. You're the young people that, pretty soon we're going to disappear and you're going to be
Thank you
taking over.
thank you for let us sharing our story. And yes, it's I think the pandemic time gave us and also other people gave us a push to be more like courageous, or to just like try and do it, because we were thinking actually about opening a shop and making this our job the years before. Thank God we didn't do it in 2019 or the beginning of 2020.
Of course. Yeah.
It was luck, but we were thinking about it. But of course, if you think about Venice, sometimes just even the rent prices can be really overwhelming, and you can be really afraid of like taking that big step of like opening a shop.
Of course.
But I think after like 1 year of isolating and just like rethinking about all your life, actually, or like what is interesting in your job and what you do. So I think it gave us a push. And it's also so great to see that there's lots of other people doing that, because the city really needs it, I think.
Yeah, it's like what should go with this also is the opportunity for young people, people in general, to come and live back in the city. So housing, because I don't know if you two actually live right now in Venice or not, but if you don't, I know it's complicated, commuting every day. So, and as you say, the rental of the stores itself is they are way above what any other city in Italy usually they are. What you actually, so you gave us an idea what you actually, how the company was born and everything. So what do you actually produce? Because I had a look through your website and I was very impressed, but obviously I had visually. So I need you to tell, on an audio, explain what to people, if they walk into your shop, what do they find?
So what I could use a few words to like in an easy way to explain what we do. I think we do some kind of unusual and contemporary souvenirs.
Okay.
And that's what we thought when we started like thinking about selling our illustrations, selling our products. We had the design, and then we were like, what the output for our design and illustration should be. And starting to look around the city, of course, Venice has lots of souvenirs around, but most of them are like kitschy, old school.
And made in China.
And made in China, of course. Made in Venice. Of course, there's like artisanal traditions and stuff, but the main thing you see right now in the city is like kitschy souvenirs. And we thought, why don't we do our own version of that using architecture illustrations, which is the base of all our project, and do souvenirs. And so our products are made in printed matters. So it's books, it's little notebooks, like pocket little things that you can bring home, like, easy way, postcards, prints, and tote bags. We do also printed, like now we started working with paper models, which is super fun. And so it's always something around paper and architectural illustration. Sometimes it's a bit hard to explain without visuals.
Yes.
But so I will tell if it's a little bit easy to like go and have a look. But from what can I explain, it's the elements of the cities. So I don't know, churches of the city, palaces of the Grand Canal, the boats of the cities, all the elements that architectural, mostly elements of the city that make it up, drawn in an architectural perspective and in an architectural way of illustrating. So normally like a plan view, a facade view, like this, in a kind of a technical way, but also with pops of colors. I think colors are something that can define our style.
And not only, and you take it from joke of word, the pool of Venice, that when it comes down to colors, every day, every hour, the colors in the city are totally different. They're so unique of a city of Venice because of the water of the canal is so different than any other city in the, every other part in the world. The stuccos on the buildings are so particular of Venice. So it must be, I mean, you can probably do of the same kind of the same I don't know, the same facade of the same monument. You can do so many different versions of it because of the colors that can be totally different, and you got so many also styles in Venice of architecture that must drive you crazy because you got so many, I mean,
I think
layers.
it's really, I think it's inspiring actually. Lots of people
Mm.
sometimes ask us like, where did you get this like colors palette or this style? And I just say it came spontaneously, I think, from our walks around the city, from our living in the city for such a long time. I think it went inside our eyes and our brain, and then it came out, but spontaneously. So it was super inspiring just to be able to live here and look at the city, change its lights, change
And
every
what
day,
about
and the water, of course, it's a
Christina, what
creation.
about the name? How come you chose Saor? Because obviously I'm a cook, is my element. So when I first saw your name, I thought exactly the same thing. Do they do cooking lessons as well or something like that? So how come Saor?
So we wanted something that sound Venetian, so connected to the city, and something that like could resonate easy, not like sound easy also from somebody that's not Italian. But the thing we love,
I can see you work in communication and you're young because that's a good thing that you thought like that. This is your generation.
yeah,
Don't reason on this. Well done.
and also because looking around of what's already going on in Venice, lots of brands or activities are always going around the name Venice, and we didn't want to put Venice in the name, but something that maybe reminding of it. And we love Saor. I can also explain what Saor is for the
Go on.
listeners. I don't know.
Yeah, it's okay. You go ahead. It's okay. Yeah, go ahead.
No, not lots of people know about it. So, and you can correct me if I say something wrong. I hope not. So it's a traditional Venetian recipe that involves fish or vegetables, but the main part is the seasoning of it. So using caramelized onions and raisins and pine nuts
and vinegar
to put on top
and vinegar.
Sure.
That's the most important part.
That.
Yeah, that's the most important part. Yep.
And the thing is, it was used to like preserve the food. So the longer this like how do you say, seasoning stays on the food, the tastier the food gets. And it can be preserved for a long time. And the thing we loved is this thing.
You disappeared.
The ingredients.
Sorry,
with time
for a moment you disappeared. If you can say again the last minute.
Yes. So I think the most interesting part about Saor, it's the timing.
Yeah.
So the fact that, and the taste. So that's the longest the ingredients stay together, the tastier the food gets. So I think that's why we decided to use this name.
Okay, makes sense.
With patience and time, things get more tasteful.
Okay. Another question. So people can just walk in, obviously, in your shop, and you're going to tell me the times and everything later on. But if somebody walks in and orders you something personalized, can they do it?
Yes. Normally, yes. We also work like on commission. So we have our works in the shop, which is like product we already design, and they're always like evolving and changing, but we also work on commission. So if somebody wants, like, we worked with like privates who just wanted like a custom illustration, sometimes with institutions, so maybe working with like maps also, which is one of our passions. We also designed a map of Venice from that one. It's also a good base to start with. We had one of the most interesting collaborations we had in the last few years was with Institut Français of Florence. They came to know about our article, and they were just like thinking about doing a set of maps of different cities in which they were working with, and we collaborated collaborated with them to do like a really interesting project also with students about drawing maps of other cities, not about just about Venice. And it was a good and interesting commission we received by a client.
Nice.
Also do this kind of stuff.
It's interesting because again, you're back to one of the things that Venice was famous for, and is cartography. Isn't it incredible how,
Yes.
1600 years have passed and we're back back there, with artisans, because you are artisans. I mean, I know you're architects, but lo and behold, you are you're craft people, are you?
Yes.
So, and
also with,
yeah, go on, sorry.
I'm sorry, just because also like we've been always passionate about mappings, and I think as the city of Venice, but also like for me, it's something interesting in the traveling experience, like having a map on your hands while you travel around, you get to know a city is super important because it makes you like get inside it actually, and understanding how it works, it shapes its main locations, and it's like, I think it's so useful, especially right now where we use Google Maps, which is just like giving us a straight street to follow, path, analyzing the shape. It's super interesting.
I totally agree with you about Google Maps. It's good to get you from A to B if you don't know where you're getting fast, but you lose the sense of direction, you lose the sense of where, or taking point of references as you're going along. And then it is a city that, okay, we all know it's so easy to get lost if you're not, if you're not used to go around it because of the way Venice is built. But I think nowadays is even worse because people just rely so uniquely on Google Maps, and they just listen. They don't look where they're going. And they don't pinpoint point of references. I mean, I know in Venice it's not easy because if you say, "Oh, go by the churches," there's more than 100 churches, so it's not easy to have just one point of reference. But let's say, I think I totally agree with you. A paper map is so much difference. It gives you, as you were saying, a whole sense of how big a city is, of the areas of a city, or where you are in respect to other areas. Google Map doesn't give you that. So I love what you're doing. So how, what was I going to ask you? Yes. How hard was it, though, right at the beginning to set up shop? Because I know it's not an easy thing to do in a city like Venice. How hard was it to find the location and, to find the right location as well?
So it took lots of time, I think. So we were actually, before having our shop, we had during the years before. So we actually started the project around 2014 or 15.
Oh, okay.
Like
it's a long
starting
time.
to do the illustration. So it's a long time. The shop is 2 years, but the project is a little bit longer. And I think starting from 2016, we just like open ourselves to public, like working on maybe with markets or little fairs and something like this, try to propose the products to the
you gone again
time until
you went again, Cristina.
I'm sorry about that.
No, don't worry. We know Venice is Wi-Fi nightmare for everybody, so don't worry. I lost you when you said you were doing the fairs.
Yes, so we used fairs and market to try and show our product and see if it was actually sellable or like interesting to people. Also because from the first products we did, we also thought it was a niche product because, of course, architectural illustration may be not understandable to everyone. So in the years between 2016 and 2021, when we opened the shop, we worked with lots of resellers around the city. So actually, we tested the product in like museum bookshops, bookstores that were really open to like help us promote the thing. We had a collaboration that's still going on with Fondaco dei Tedeschi. So it's like we tested the product first. And when we understood it was actually working, we thought maybe we could have our own little house where to like have people over explain the products and everything. So we started looking, and also because we were you could never see our faces. Like we worked through social media, sometimes
of course.
and we were always working from home in some kind of a mysterious way, and we would have loved to like dare to explain our things.
Hey,
So from I think
like the monks in the old days, was worked in
yeah.
the convent, like the monastery when nobody saw them. Same kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah, and I think after that many years, we thought it was time to like get out there and be there to explain everything and put our faces out and our bodies out. So I think we started looking in 2019, and we started looking actually in the areas we knew the best, which was maybe Santa Croce, San Polo, and Dorsoduro, because we always lived around there. And actually also like getting around the city and looking for not rent, like shops which was closed, try to understand the rent stuff. It was really scary at the beginning, and so I didn't like got like precise idea. Of course, if you think about the main paths for tourists, like
but it's gonna be so expensive.
Higher.
Yeah.
So we had a few like bad experiences of like being really interested in one shop and then gave it to somewhere else or something like this, and then we stopped during COVID our search. Actually, for once, we also looked for spaces in Mestre because it was cheaper, but not like to have a shop, but also to have like a office storage and
some kind of base where you could go and work as well instead of working from home. Of course.
But then we had the luck, actually, after like being deluded for a few times, like when some shops we didn't get it and stuff, we were like a bit depressed for a while, and we thought maybe the best thing to do, we live here for a long time and Venice is made like this, it's mouth to mouth. So we started telling everybody we knew we're looking for a shop, if you know anything, let us know. And like that our shop came out.
Wow.
I think it's a good way also that how Venice works. It's actually a small town.
Where are you based then?
We are based in Salizzada San Canzian, which is in Canareggio, but it's in between Canareggio, San Marco, and Castello.
I think you have a little bit of Canareggio, aren't you?
Yes, it's the last bit, and also connected to Castello from San Giovanni Paolo on, and also we're like a few bridges away from Rialto Bridge, and just at the end of Strada Nuova. So it's an interesting location, actually. And it's good because I think lots of people pass by every day. It's also on the way to Fondamente Nove, so where people go to take the boats to the islands. And it's not the main path, so it's not that crowded. And one thing I really love about the neighborhood, it's actually it's lived by Venetians. It has Venetians services and shops. Like there's a bakery, there's a fruit shop, there's everything you could need is like actually
you're near Mondo Divino, are you?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yes, I love that place. I love all of that area. You are right. It's actually one of the few places left in Venice that I think is still it feels a bit like Castello in a way, still very, as you say, with a lot of little shops. I mean, Hanover, maybe there are a couple of souvenir shops, but for the rest, it's all Venetian shops. I know you're right on that. Really lovely. And you are really right. You're like 2 minutes from Rialto Walker, it's so easy.
Yeah, it's perfect. Like we got it by chance, kind of, but it's a perfect location. And it was like we felt this thing of being in an actual Venetian neighborhood when we opened the shop, and the neighbors came to
welcome. Oh, that's so nice.
Say congrats and be like, we're happy you open, and it felt amazing.
Well, because shops like yours elevate the whole area in a way. I keep repeating, people like you, artisans, people that open all those kind of shops in the city are the people that we should valorize, that we should talk about. Above all, if you're young people, even more so. And that's who the city authority should concentrate on when they're promoting the city. But that's another story. I'm getting a bit political on this, but then people know how I feel about this. Okay, gosh, I'm so happy I got to talk to you. I got to thank my client that came on my tour and suggesting And you
Yes,
know who you
thank
are.
you,
If you're
dear.
listening, you know who you are. So what's the next projects for Studio Saòr then? Are you gonna go and do something really big? Have you got anything planned? What's going on?
I think right now, of course, there's many, like since we opened the shop, the production of drawings, which is our main activity, got a little bit slow down a little bit
Yeah.
because it's two of us and managing a space like this takes
Okay.
time.
Of course.
So I hope what is going to be next, it's going to be next lots of new products and books, and we do this analysis on the city. There's a collection of books we do that we would love to like get it going a little bit more. We're working on a book about demolished churches of Venice, so all the churches that disappear. It's there for
Nice.
a while, so I hope we're going to be publishing it soon.
Cool.
And I think also like this is like telling you the other side of the job, like getting more organized, having another space to like work with storage, because for now we have like 15 square meters and that's it. So we need a little bit more to grow a little bit. And I think we're also going to be working on other cities. We love Venice. We will still working with Venice, but I think other cities are coming.
Okay. And you're going to have to change the name then. Instead of Studio Saòr, you're going to have to call it Studio Porchetta or something like that, according to which city you're going to.
Yeah. I think Saor is going to stick with us for a while.
No, it's a beautiful name. I got to say, I love it. I think you picked, of all the names, but, as I repeat, you're young, so I can see you're there. I mean, it's just a totally way of thinking. I mean, I just love your energy. I love chatting to you. I'm so happy, and I just hope there's more and more people like you guys opening. I know there is I've during the last Salone dell'Artigianato, I met a couple of people that young as well that are gonna open soon, I think in December in Venice, doing different things. So it's nice to see young people coming back to the city, and I just hope you get the support that you need, because it's so important. Because economically you need to survive like everybody else, and if you can get some exposure of any kind of sort, I know that helps. It was beautiful talking to you, Cristina. Thank you so much for giving me your time, because I know you're very busy. And this was your lunch as well.
Really, but that's okay. It's a pleasure, and thank you so much for letting us tell you the story. We're really happy. I'm speaking also on behalf of my business partner Ferruccio. Thank you very much.
I got that. Thank you so much, and I'm definitely gonna stop by next time I come down that area. Sure. Speak to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye. Oh no, wait. Forgot the most important thing. Oh, no. Where do the people can give me the website and your social media? Sorry, my God, I was forgetting.
Yes,
most important.
It's super easy. Social media, it's at Studio Saòr, STUDIOSAOR, and same for the website, studiosaor.com.
Perfect. That's fantastic. Thank you so much.
You.
See you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you again, Cristina, for the lovely chat as usual. And you can find Studio Saòr at www.studiosaor.com and on all social medias at Studio Saòr. Thank you again for listening. If you want to book a food tour or a cooking experience with me, you can find me on my blog www.monicacesarato.com or at cookingvenice.com, and also on all social medias with the handle at Monica Cesarato and at Cooking Venice. Feel free to leave a comment or write to info@monicacesarato.com for more information about the people featured in the podcast or Venice. Bye bye!